When we bought the cabin up north, you obviously don't have a lot of money, and you want to be able to still consume the sports that you love.
Right.
And so I said to myself, it's okay, hun, we pay for Xfinity at home. Free. I'm an Xfinity customer. I raise my hand. And the reason why I have Xfinity is because that's where I can watch all my games. I can watch my Giants, my Warriors. Like, I find it very easy and simple. And since I've already paying for HBO Max, and I'm already paying for Netflix, and I'm paying for Hulu because I got the Disney bundle, I have it all synced into the Xfinity, app, if you will, and you can kind of redirect to those
You don't
sites.
have to go from this app to that app, hopscotch, and do a bunch of stuff.
Exactly. So, long story short, I go up to the cabin. I got all my cousins up there, and we're going to do the YouTube TV thing.
Yeah.
Well, Warrior game's supposed to be on, and I can't get the Warrior game on. For some reason, it's just not working. It's driving me crazy. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? I got to get Xfinity because I know how to work the Xfinity thing. And I know it sounds stupid, but like everyone kind of consumes in their own way. And the number one thing you hear now, Alan, especially from the younger people, is we're all cord cutting. I don't even have cable. I use YouTube TV or I stream or whatever, and they're picking and choosing what they want as opposed to what I do, which is the old school way. Hey, Xfinity, I live in the Bay Area. Give me a cable package, and you tell me what channels I'm paying for.
You're right. But what gets scary with that is every year or every couple years, they'll scare you and say, we're going to lose this local network where you get the games, and then you're freaking out, and then they end up keeping it, or they don't, and you have to move. The YouTube thing is interesting because I have YouTube
Okay,
TV.
so you have YouTube. Okay, and we don't need to talk about the exact figures of what everyone's paying. So you're signed up for YouTube. You don't have basic cable.
No
basic cable. How long ago did you make that decision?
A long time. Well, maybe 3-4 years ago.
That's about a long time. And now Spadoni and Sam, I want you involved as well, because you guys are all probably about minimum 10 years younger than me, give or take. All right. And so I feel like maybe I'm a relic from an older time. All right. Spadoni, do you pay for cable?
Yes.
Okay. Do you also pay for multiple streaming apps?
Yes.
Okay. I'm probably in the minority. I'm going to admit, I'm going to raise my hand, and I'm going somewhere with this. This is sports related. Bear with me, audience, here on 95.7 The Game. I pay for Xfinity, which gives me the HBO stuff because I've got that that HBO package or whatever. I pay for Netflix. I pay for Hulu/Spotify. Me and my wife share the account, whatever. I also have that ESPN Plus in that Hulu. What is it? Hulu, Spotify package. It's some bundle. I paid for some bundle.
Right. ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney.
Yeah, I think they're all bundled into one. I don't even know what it costs me. I know that I love Disney because I love Star Wars and all that stuff. I love the Marvel movies. And then I also want that ESPN Plus because it gives me a little break on UFC fights and when I want to watch the PGA Tour, etc. I'm also paying for Amazon Prime because I already pay for Prime. Right? So I kind of get that for free. So I'm probably in the minority. I have everything.
Sure.
Right?
Now,
you pick and choose.
But half of the reason I have YouTube TV is because it does give that nostalgic feel of cable. You flip through and it's not fully connected to the remote. And I'm sure if I read something, I probably could connect it. But YouTube, basically the UI is just like cable.
Okay. And so you could flip channels and whatnot. Okay.
Exactly.
So last summer, I go up to the Rush River. We went from, my grandma's cabin. My dad's staying up there. My dad's probably the older demographic. Now, my dad has Netflix, knows how to use Netflix.
Yeah.
But when it comes to watching games, if a Giants game goes on the Peacock channel, he loses his mind because he wants to be able to channel up and channel down. And he feels like once you exit out of the game, it's hard to get back to the game.
No, I do not disagree, specifically because, and I know your dad probably loves baseball, I don't know if he's sitting there for a full 9.
No one is.
Sometimes you want to get out,
You're channel
get back in, and now you got to get in the app.
Exactly.
I get it.
Exactly.
I get it.
So, okay. So what's happening right now, maybe people aren't aware of this, but there is a big bankruptcy happening with all of these local sports regional networks. Think about here in the Bay Area. If you're a Bay Area resident, we've got NBC Bay Area, okay? And they broadcast Giants games and they broadcast Warrior games, all right? You get a lot, not all, but you get a lot of those games on that channel. Well, there are regional networks throughout the entire country that are broadcasting Miami Heat games, Cleveland Guardian games, etc. And it's called Bally's. So you're looking at about 15 markets in both baseball and in the NBA that are aligned with this regional company called Bally's. Now, Bally's used to be Fox Sports. Fox bundled up all of these regional broadcast partners, sold it to Disney. Disney flipped it to this Bally company.
Yeah.
So Bally owns it. Now imagine defaulting on your mortgage, your loan. What would the bank do?
They would then charge you more.
Or try to default on the home, and then they would own the home and sell it off. So right now, Bally stopped making payments on their credit. They owe $140 million, X amount of months. Every X amount of months, they didn't make the payment. So now all of these small regional broadcasts, the Anaheim Angels is on Bally Sports. They are going bankrupt. Bally Sports is going bankrupt. And this is a huge deal. And the reason why you should care about this is because this is how we consume baseball and the NBA. Now, there's a Yankee network where the Yankees are broadcasting on their own network that they own, and they are making a ton of money. NBC seems to be doing fine when it comes to their financials. You're not going to skip a beat on a Giants game or a Warrior game. But if you're a Marlin fan or you're a Miami Heat fan and you live in South Florida, you're in trouble, and those teams are relying on that money. Well, the reason why I'm making such a big deal about this is that we have seen unbelievable spending in Major League Baseball this offseason. Unbelievable spending. The NBA, what kind of spending do we see?
I mean, a lot.
Crazy. Yeah. Jordan Poole has had like one good year. We're giving him $25 million a year, right? The reason why this matters is because the amount of money these teams have to spend is directly correlated to the amount of money they make on these local revenue TV deals. The NFL, no local TV. Think about it. Like you watch the Niners or the Raiders, it's on CBS, it's on Fox, it's on Amazon Prime, it's on one of the 6 major networks. They don't do regional broadcasts. It's all national. So they don't have to worry about this. But the NBA and Major League Baseball, they've got an issue here. And what they're saying is that they want Bally's to go broke so that the entire Major League Baseball conglomerate of all these teams can bring all of those digital rights in-house and do what the NFL does, which is sell the whole thing, all of these teams bundled up together, all as one, and then they're going to put it behind a paywall so that Alan Stiles and Joe Shasky have to pay to see the San Francisco Giants.
But isn't
more than their cable bill.
Right. But what is the difference between, because you're saying they would want to do what the NFL does, but the NFL, you just said Major League Baseball would be under one, but the NFL has Fox, CBS. So what's the difference there?
Well, right now, so think about this. When you watch an NFL game, it can be on Amazon Prime on Thursdays. On Sundays, it could be the beginning of the day, Fox or CBS. Sure. Where is it on Sunday night? It's on NBC, right? And then they have Monday Night Football on ESPN. So there's 6 different networks. And then on top of that, the NFL network, right? Where you can watch any one of their games. Whether you're the Jacksonville Jaguars or the San Francisco 49ers, you're going to be on one of those 6 channels. Right now, NBA and baseball, they've got a local deal, NBC Bay Area, for example. And you can also watch the NBA where? On ESPN from time to time. And on TNT. So there'll be some sort of a mix when they do this. But right now, MLS soccer, you used to be able to watch the San Jose Earthquakes on NBC California. That's going away. They basically, MLS said, we're the only place that you could find soccer for MLS is behind Apple Plus paywall.
That's correct.
Another platform I pay for that I didn't think about earlier.
Yes, but I mean, Apple TV is great.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great.
Yeah, I know. I love it too. So I guess my question that I'm bringing out, A, do you care? Because I think this is going to create a big problem in terms of spending. When you look at like the New York Mets, they have a $300 million payroll. And then you look up and it's like the A's, the Reds, the Pirates, they got $30 million payrolls. And those smaller teams are dramatically relying on that local revenue, as well as the bigger teams. The Giants, for example, if their local revenue went away from the NBC partner, that would affect their salaries. That would affect their payroll, and I would care. Simultaneously, how would I watch Giants games?
Again, you get scared. They scare you every couple years, and I don't think anybody ever takes it seriously. And if you got to move, you got to move. I think when it comes to fans caring, you have to directly correlate how that would affect you. So it's the ability to sign.
I agree.
The ability to sign free agents, maybe the costs in the ballpark, because could they even raise prices higher because they're trying to make back that revenue somewhere else. So I think fans obviously aren't going to get into the weeds like this, but as things start to creep out and as things start to continue to release and okay, wait, what's going on here? And it starts to get a little bit louder, then I do think people will care. And just even going back to the bit about your dad, I mean, it's a little ridiculous at this point.
What part?
having to go all these different places to get content. Here's the craziest part.
It is crazy, isn't it?
And I don't ever think that cord cutting was supposed to be easier than cable.
No.
Because that's why people kept cable, because it is easier.
Wasn't it? See, my thought on cord cutting was to save money.
It was to save money.
Right?
And nobody's saving money anymore.
No, because there's so many subscription fees across the board. So I guess let's boil it down to this. Let's say, because this is what they want to do, Major League Baseball and the NBA, they want to take all the digital rights and hold it themselves and then sell it off to Amazon Prime or Apple Plus or ESPN Plus or whomever. And that would be the only place where you can go and watch your team for the most part. All right? If you're a Giants fan or you're a Warrior fan, and I had to put those games behind a paywall, some sort of subscription fee, be it ESPN Plus, whatever, would you pay for both of them? Because right now I'm paying for my entire Xfinity package really just to watch the Warriors and Giants. Like, I'm being real. Like, that's my number one justification for Xfinity. Otherwise, I think I would have cord cut years ago.
I would pay.
Does the amount matter to you?
It definitely matters. I'm saying I would pay, but there's definitely a limit. I don't know what that limit is. I don't think when you break it down, I mean, I don't know. If I'm looking at an actual amount, I don't think I can go for one season. You figure what NFL ticket is, I think $220 or something like that.
Okay.
NFL ticket, which I got.
I have the red zone, and then I have again, we all have the base,
whatever version
channels,
of them. So $200 for a season to watch my team, and then $200. Let's say they were both $200
for the year.
For the year, for the season.
Which that probably is in line with what it would cost.
I would be very unhappy about it, but I would do it. I also talk sports. So I could see a fan that is just like, all the casual fans would say, I'm not paying $200 to watch Giants games. Specifically, don't get me started with the current roster.
Yes.
And then the current roster might not get better because they don't have the money to make it better.
Do you see where I'm going with this? It's like right now, the Giants are on pace for a $200 million payroll. Let's just say, hypothetically, in 3 or 4 years, right? All of Major League Baseball decides to take all the digital rights in-house. And Giants fans aren't feeling good about their team. And then you start seeing that subscription base, because they go behind a paywall, go lower and lower and lower. Do you think the payroll is going to go up or go down?
It's going to go down unless the projections are higher than what they think. I do know that we were just talking in the green room as well. All of these people, all of these companies, they would prefer the subscription. Viewership is great.
Yes.
But they would prefer, I mean, the value that you get from just, hey, we know that this household paid this for the season. We don't really care if you watch or not.
Exactly. So like the way the cable model works right now, right? The reason why it was so good for so long, I pay for ESPN and a zillion other channels, and whether I watch it or not, I'm paying every single month. And so the Cubs, the Giants, whoever, if they're a part of that cable package, they can depend on that money coming in. And now when this Bally Sports goes broke, that money might not come in because it might get removed from the cable package, which affects the revenue stream for these businesses. Now, we're getting in the weeds here, but we're going to talk to David Sampson at 8 o'clock. And David Sampson was a president of a baseball team, the Miami Marlins, and he has been talking about this ad nauseum. And what I found fascinating, and I brought this up to you guys in the green room, and you guys almost like jumped back and were like shocked that I would even bring this up. He's talking to John Skipper. John Skipper used to run ESPN. He knows about creating the SEC network. He knows about literally creating the college playoff network and how much, or the college playoffs for football, and how much money that made ESPN. He goes, in the next 5 years to 10 years, you will see the Super Bowl be behind a paywall. And I'm like, what? He literally said the Super Bowl will be a pay-per-view event, meaning you have to pay $200, $150 to watch the Super Bowl like a fight.
Incredible.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
It's insane. And you know what's going to happen? Whenever they launch it, all of those rich execs are going to sit in a room. It's going to go down. They're going to go over the numbers. And you know what they're going to say? We should have done this 20 years ago.
Exactly.
That's what they're going to say.
Because right now, there was a world breaker, an American record of Super Bowl watchers. 1 out of every 2, give or take, Americans watch the Super Bowl. Okay? So they're saying, all right, so we've already got CBS and Fox and all. They're all fighting for our television rights, and we only give the Super Bowl to one of them every year.
Yeah.
And the other 5 are on the outdoor looking in.
Right.
Right? And they're all 10-year deals, right? So the way they're saying is, what if we just took the Super Bowl off the plate? You think Fox isn't going to just keep paying for TV rights? Of course they're going to pay for the regular season.
Yeah.
Of course they're going to play for the playoffs. And we'll pocket the $250 per household on the pay-per-view money, and we'll kill it. And that's a whole new form of revenue.
I'm gonna bring this around because I always find a way to do this.
Yeah, please do.
I'll tell you this much. If these local deals going under eventually lead to less games for Major League Baseball, sign me up.
Sign me up. I'm with you on that.
Maybe, okay, well, there's less being paid. There's less money going around.
There's too much inventory.
Now we have to play less games because of it. Yeah. I'm in.
Well, this is in part why there have been rule changes. No one wants to say this out loud. Television rules sports. All right? Why are we going to a 16-team college playoff system?
More TV.
More TV. What? Why is the NBA losing their minds right now over load management? Because the TV partners are pissed.
Yeah.
This is all about TV partners. And I think that in general, sports media, because no one has business backgrounds, they don't eloquently explain to the people that consume it, which is all of us. I am hooked on sports.
Yeah.
They've got me, all right? Like an addict. I'm shaking over here waiting for my sports. We don't explain the business side of it, which really dictates the rules and the programming and the schedules and everything. Baseball put in rules right now. We're going to go through some of the rules because they want to make the TV product better. They want to make it smaller. They want to make it quicker. They want to make the game move faster so it presents better on television.
Yeah, and here's what I would do. And I'm curious what the MLB package would look like or what the NBA package would look like. Because if I don't care how big, I mean, maybe you, Shasky, because it's the beginning of the season, you're going to get a lot of people excited about that. But if I'm any type of casual fans, even more of a casual fan, there are so many games in baseball, 162.
Yeah.
If you're going to if you're going to take a discount off halfway through the season, I'll just see if my team is good or not.
I know a lot of people will, but this is what their argument would be. Well, we got to start somewhere. So kind of like Apple Plus, like we're going to start from zero and we're just going to build this thing up.
Yeah.
And we'd rather take whatever revenue on the first year of subscriptions because it's better than going bankrupt and not being able to broadcast games in local markets.
Yeah.
And right now there's a blackout issue going on in baseball. We've all done this. Like you go to flip your game on and the game's not on television. And you're like, what the hell? How is this game not on? All we want to do is watch our teams.